Well, let's bring in our panel, retired Air Force Special Operations Commander and national security expert, Major Glenn Ignazio, and also joining us is Trump 2020 National Security Advisor and retired U.S. Army Colonel Tony Shaffer. Two great guys. I'm so happy to have you both here. Thank you, guys. Tony, what do you make of this? And what are the rules now for shooting down objects? When do you decide that something's in our airspace and something that warrants it? They said they opened the radar and basically adjusted it, and now they can see more. But what are the guidelines?
So we need to know what the rules of engagement are, to your point. And I think they're being very cagey about that because they don't want anybody to know. I think they're essentially trying to have their cake and eat it too by saying, oh yeah, we're being very strong, but not announcing that. And regarding the radars, Rita, look, this is not your father's Cold War early warning system. We don't have dedicated radars run by the military that cover everything. We just don't. It was too expensive. They got rid of it after the 1991 end of the Cold War. So they have a tapestry of FAA radars, civil aviation radars, and military radars, which are essentially a tapestry that are kind of woven together. And yes, they had to change the algorithm to detect that. But let me go on the record here and say at least two of the balloons that were shot down, in addition to the one that was shut off the Carolina course, according to information I tend to believe is true, indicate they're Chinese. Amir Siraj of Harvard, an atmospheric researcher looking at basically objects, did a study, survey using NOAA data and tools, and he was able to look at the wind patterns, and he traced those balloons, the one in Yukon and Lake Huron shot down, back to China, and he says they were launched from China on the 8th and 9th of February in the area where we suspect their balloon program. So, Rita, the government knows this. DOD knows what I just told you, but they're pretending they don't know. So I think we're being lied to.
Well, and boy, there are still so many unanswered questions. Even the people in the classified briefings walk out and they say, well, we really didn't learn anything.
Right.
Let me bring you in, Major, because what's interesting, too, is we do know that they did get apparently the spy balloon that was shot out of the sky off of Surfside Beach in South Carolina after it went, of course, across the country for 8 days. What can we get from that? The other ones we don't know. Apparently, they've called off the search, by the way. This just came out recently, that they've called off the search in Alaska and Lake Huron, so we may never find those. But at least the one they have, can they reverse engineer? What can we learn from China out of that?
Yes, great question, and absolutely true. First of all is the size of it. As mentioned, the actual balloon itself was about 200 feet in length, and the payload itself is about 3 school buses in length as well. So there's a lot of equipment that they were able to pull up, and mainly it's the platform that we want to look at. So the reverse engineering, basically the analysis of what was there. Is it signals intelligence where they're trying to capture signals that are being transmitted? Were there cameras, along balloon over the missile site can see pattern of light to see how things are done on a missile site. So they're going to take a look at all that, what its specifications and capabilities are, and that can highlight what they were able to see and possibly what was divulged to the Chinese.
What do you think this means for moving forward, Tony? Where is the process? I mean, now that we talked about the radar opening up, I mean, how are they going to determine what to take out, what not to take out, should something enter our airspace again?
Well, circling back to how we started, Rita, yeah, we need to know what the rules of engagement are. I mean, if nothing else, just for civil aviation to know what the rules are. I mean, if they're shooting down civilian balloons, I think that's going to cause some problems. And if these things are actually coming into airspace at 20,000 feet, that is a legitimate hazard to navigation. So what are you going to do? And let's face it, $400,000 a shot of the AIM-9X is way expensive to take down something that probably costs an order of $10,000 to $20,000. So we are owed answers. We are owed a clear statement of policy, of objectives, and what American citizens can expect of the most expensive defense establishment on the planet. So simply because you have bad leadership at the top doesn't mean that these things should not be answered. But that's where we're at regarding the overall status of the issue.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to get answers as to what did the military see looking at these objects? Yeah. What did they relay to the president? What did he say? I hope we get to the bottom of this, gentlemen. Both of you guys, really great to have you here on the show. I love having you both on. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Rita.
Absolutely.
Thank
Good morning.
you, guys.